Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here on a Saturday. But the information that I want to share with you is very, very important. Ministry for Housing and Community Development. We will be conducting a public consultation starting 26th of November. And this public consultation is on a draft policy that the ministry has developed on the lot allocation for the informal settlement upgrade. Right. So this public consultation is all about how a lot is allocated after an informal settlement has been upgraded. As you know, around Fiji we have more than 250 informal settlement, and the government is making effort to upgrade some of these informal settlements. We cannot do all at once. It's a staged approach. Three informal settlement is on the verge of completion. About 5 or 6 is we will be commencing work on this settlement. We are also working with the private sector to upgrade some of these settlements. So you may be wondering, why are we having this public consultation on a draft policy? The reason why we're going to have this public consultation is to get public view on some of the changes we are proposing to the current policy, which is 19 years old. This policy was introduced in the year 2001. And from 2001 to date, situations have changed in informal settlement. New issues have emerged in informal settlement. And the current policy cannot address those issues. And therefore, we need to have a new policy to address some of the challenges ministry is facing when it comes to allocation of lots. Now, the new policy will be targeting 4 key areas. The first one is how the lots will be allocated. Who qualifies, who doesn't? What are some of the criteria one has to meet before he or she is given a lot? The second area under consideration is the cost of the lot. And the third area is the government subsidy, right? And the last one is the restriction that we intend to place on government subsidized lots. Now, so let me now address these 4 areas individually. So we'll start off with the criteria. The criteria we're looking at is, number 1, you've got to be a Fijian citizen. Number 2, 18 years and above. And number 3, you should be residing in that area from the time the ministry acquires the development lease and the settlement is being upgraded. Right, so that's one of the 3 criteria that I've mentioned, but there are many more. One can look at the whole document. Then the cost of the lot, how the cost will be determined. Our intention is to use the market value and not the UCV, unimproved capital value. And our reasoning is that if we use the market value, then one can get the loans from the banks easily, because that is really the right price for the land. And the government will provide subsidy based on the market value. Right. So that is one of the reason why we want to use the market value and not the unimproved capital value. Then subsidy. How the subsidy will be given to those who are residing in the informal settlement. We intend to provide a bigger subsidy to those households who are, I would say, their income level is much lower as compared to those whose income level is higher. So we're looking at the income bracket. Anyone earning household income, any household income which is below $10,000, then that family will get a higher subsidy. For example, the subsidy that we are recommending in this policy document is 90%. So 90%, the cost or the value of that land will be paid by the government. Only 10% will come from the household. And then as your income bracket or income level increases, say up to 50,000, subsidy level will decrease. Any household earning over 50,000, then that family will not be given any government subsidy. In other words, he or she will be in a better position to borrow from the bank and pay for the land. So that's the government subsidy and how it will be applied, but more details are in the paper. And then the last one, as you have seen, people, they have been, they get the subsidized lot, and once they get the 99-year title, then either they sell the lot or they put it out on rent and they move out of that informal settlement. And there are several cases that we have. This policy was not developed just like that. It was done through research. We had done a lot of investigation based on past informal settlement upgrade program and the way we had given out the lots. So our proposal in the policy is that we will put a caveat on that land for at least 10 years. If someone decides to sell the land because he or she is migrating or for some other reason, then they have to seek permission or approval from the Ministry of Housing and Community Development. And while assessing the request, Ministry will recover the subsidized amount given by the government. We want to simply stop people who want to profiteer from these subsidized lots. We had seen in several cases where the government gave subsidized lots. People have in fact sold their property, or the land is still vacant, not used. So that means they had a place to live, or they've rented it out. So we want to stop that. If you go out in an informal settlement, you will also come across people who are running their business. Right? They're running garages, they're running shops, they have got trucking businesses, and all these businesses are operating from informal settlement. Now, should we be providing these families with a subsidized lot? If someone can afford to buy one, why should government be subsidizing them? That is taxpayers' money. right? And as a taxpayer, you always want to see your money is used in area where you as a person can gain, like education, health, road, and so forth. Not towards a household who can actually pay for themselves. My visits to informal settlements have revealed that there are families who consider, they operate in a, sometimes they come up with some suggestion which is hard to believe. For example, they will tell you that, we want land for my son, for my daughter. Now, we don't have a problem. Yes, if you want a land for your son or a daughter because you already have a home to live in, but you're thinking of the future of your children, then you have to pay for that. Government's intention is to provide the land to a family who never owned a property previously or at the time the application is made. So these are some strict criteria we are using so that we can genuinely help those who need our help. And we have learned a lot, not only through our research in informal settlements, but also from the investigation report that came out of Housing Authority. So we need to curb such practices and create a fairer system. And I think that's all I wanted to say. So in terms of the public consultation, as I mentioned, there will be a one-to-one consultation that will be provided by the ministry. And this consultation, as I mentioned earlier on, it will be rolled out from 26th November. They have identified venues in the Central, Western, and Northern Division where public can come, give their views. So that's one-to-one level. Then people who don't want to travel, they want to be at home, they can access the information from the council's website. They can fill the questionnaire. This time around, we have translated the questionnaire in Itoke and Hindi language to assist those who may not understand English or may face some difficulty in answering those questions. And my permanent secretary and his team will take you through some of the provisions we have online for people to participate in this public consultation.